So in today's class we are going to start our new phase, that is coding phase. Now as we have gone through the different phase of the SDLC model, now this is our particular coding phase which we are going to start from today's class. Now before we start the coding phase, let's see what is the main description of our coding. What is coding? The main objective of our coding phase is to transform the design of a system into a code in a high level language and then to unit test the code. That is at the point when we are here in our coding phase. Before that we were in our designing phase. In the whole of the designing phase, what we have done, we have designed our whole system. Before that we have seen our system was feasible or not. Then we have what we have done, we have gathered the requirements and we have analyzed those requirements. Now after that what we have done, from all those requirements we have designed our whole system in different kinds of diagrams with the help of different diagrams. Now what we are going to do, we are going to transform those diagrams. Till now what we have done, from those diagrams what we will get a system. We will just transform that whole system of design into a code. What code? In a high level language. Okay, and then afterward when we are getting the whole code in a high level language, we are just going to unit test that one. So you will see when you are constructing the SDLC model, you will see that at the time of coding phase it is written coding and unit testing. That is, when we are making the whole code, we are constructing the whole code, getting the code, that is we are transforming the design into a high level language code. Then at the same time we are also unit testing the code. That is, we are breaking the whole code into some special units, small units, and we are just testing those particular units. That is, we are breaking the whole system into small units and we are testing those units. Okay, that is our unit testing. We have seen that also in our first class, that was in SDLC model class. Now what is that there? In coding we are just transforming the thing, transforming the whole design into high level language code. That is, this high level language code will be helpful when we will be running that one, and obviously afterwards we will be testing that thing, unit testing, integration testing, and the whole system testing. Now what is next? That is coding standard. What is a coding standard? We are always talking about a coding standard, how we have to write the code. There is a specific way how we have to write a particular code. Why this specific way is given? Since it is not when we are talking about different companies, it is not a whole team which is working in all these companies. No, every time we are having different team of engineers, and to write this coding, it should be in a particular manner that is fully understandable by these all particular people, whether he is a skilled one or not, but they can specifically easily just understand this code. So this thing is known as the coding standard. What is the definition? That is, programmers adhere to standard and well-defined style of coding. This well-defined style of coding, but it should be easily understandable to every particular engineer. This is called the coding standard. Now what is the advantage of this coding standard? Why we are using this one? Obviously, uniform standard to code written by different engineers. As I have already told you that different engineers there, if they start writing the codes in their own different languages, that is in English obviously, but in different particular types, then one engineer is writing the code in a specific pattern, maybe the second engineer is not able to understand that pattern. So we are using this coding standard so that whenever whosoever is writing the code, it can be understandable by different engineers. Maybe the team can be changed in a future. So in future, if the team is changed, at that time also those engineers can also easily understand this particular code. So the work is not hampered. The work is going on. Okay. So obviously, uniform standard to code written by different engineers. Every engineer is maintaining this particular standard of coding. Now facilitates code of understanding. As I have already told you, it is very easy to understand. So this coding standard is being implemented in this particular thing. Okay. Now promotes good obviously promote a good programming practice, since a particular system of writing is taken by every person. So obviously it will promote a good programming practice. Many error checking, many other things is this can be also very easily this can be implemented. So a good programming practice is done here. Okay, now what is there? We have seen that the whole course should be in a high level language. Then what is a high level? What are the characteristics of a high level language? We are talking about high level language, low level language, but what are the main characteristics which will show that your language, writing code and writing language is a high level language? What is that one? There are 10 basic characteristics which will easily show you how you can differentiate a language in that it is a high level language. Okay, now let's see step by step. First one is readability. What is readability? Allow programs to be written in some ways that resemble a English language description of the underlying algorithms and maybe self-documenting. It may be self-documenting, but this should be resemble to some English, some kind of language. Obviously, when you are writing something, it should resemble some kind of language. Here we are talking about our English language. So whatever algorithm is written, it is obviously written in English language. So these particular coding should be resemble to our English language. So whatever it allows the programs to be written in some ways that resemble our English language, quite English language, and language description of the underlying algorithm. Since the algorithm is in English language, our code should be obviously in a basic English language so that it can be understood by every person, whosoever is writing the code. So basic English language should be there. It is the main readability one. Now next one is portability. Being essentially machine independent, should be able to develop portable software. It should be machine independent, that is whatever we are writing, whatever code we are writing, this coding should be, we can run it in different systems. As I have already told you that it should be environment friendly. Maybe you can write this, you can run this in one machine or maybe another machine. It should be very much portable. Whatever software I am making, this code is being used there, then obviously I should see that my software should be portable, that it should be machine independent. Any machine you can choose, but your code will easily run there, your software will easily run there. So the main characteristic of your software should be, it should be portable. So here a high level language is that one. First one, it should be in English language. It should not be in any haphazard language. No, it should be in basic English language which is understandable to every person in the world. And second one, it should be portable. That is, whenever whatever system you are using, your system will obviously it will run very quickly and very easily. Okay. And third one is generality. What is generality? Allow writing of a wide variety of programs. You can write a wide variety of programs with the help of this high level language. Whatever program you want in making this software, you can easily write that one. Wide variety of programs. Okay. Why? Relieving programmers to expert in diverse languages. Since we are using this high level language, why? The programmers should only know this high level language. He or she should not be expert in different languages, diverse language. No, only one language. You know this high level language is sufficient for you to write that many programs for making this particular system. The coding will be very easily, the coding phase will be very easy for that person. If you are using diverse kind of languages, it should, if the programmer is going to be expert in different languages, he or she should be, if one program is, suppose he is writing in one language, someone is writing in another language, so a person should be, he or she should be expert in different languages so that he or she can write a particular code or understand a particular code. But if we are maintaining a single language, then what will happen? The programmer should not have to be expert in diverse languages. He can know when he is knowing one language, it's sufficient for him to write different codes or different programs. So this is what is called generality. The general language is being used. Okay. Fourth one is brevity. What is that? Ability to implement algorithm with less amount of code. You should coding language which is very secured or which is very easy. That is, you have to see there should be less amount of code should be written, right? If you are making a very huge amount of codes you are writing, very much complex coding you are doing, then it will be very difficult for you. If some error is coming, then for checking that error it will be very difficult for you. Also, it is time complexity is also more and cost will be also more. So we have to see that we have to make a language in such a way, we have to write a code in such a way that it should have very less amount of codes, and high level language codes are mainly shorter than low level language codes. That's why we are talking about a high level language. We are implementing a high level language for writing our codes, so that the line of code should be very less in comparison to low level languages. So this is what is brevity. Fifth one is error checking. Many high level languages enforce a great deal of error checking both at compile and at runtime. We have to mainly see that the error checking should be very good, since whenever you are writing a code, you have to see two kinds of error checking. One is at compile time and one is at runtime. So this error checking system should be very good. That is, many high level languages, they are providing this error checking, they are enforcing this error checking system, so that you can very easily find the error and correct them, so that you can have a very neat and clean programming code. Okay, now next one is cost. Ultimate cost of programming language is what? That is equals to function of many of its characteristics. Many of the characteristics of your whenever you are writing a program, there are many characteristics of your program. So these characteristics, what you are using, how much the length of your program, how much time it is taking, how much the codes are there, if many codes are there, many lines of codes are there, as we have already seen in brevity. So obviously the cost will depend on that one. That is your ultimate cost of programming language. Whatever your programming language, what is the cost which is going to be taken, that is function of many of its characteristics. You have to see the code, how the code is being written, if it is you have many lines of code or you have a short lines of code. Also, how much time complexity is going on, how is your error checking system is there. These all things, these are different characteristics which is showing you the ultimate cost. So you have to see a system of languages which can make your cost very efficient. It should be cost efficient, obviously. So you have to take care of these all points, so that this section will be less, right? Since these all things, it should be the readability capability. Since your language is correct, very nice language, you can easily understand that one. Your portability, you can easily portable, your system is easily portable, your software is portable, it is general, the languages which you have used is general, the code of lines are very less, and obviously error checking system is good. So if these things are mainly good, so obviously your cost will be, since time is also less, the time taking is also less, since these are easily enforceable, so obviously your cost will be also less. So this mainly depends on these factors. Now, familiar notation. Familiar notation used so that can be understood by most of the programmers. As I have already told you that a familiar notation is used so that in any environment, any kind of programmer who is dealing with these codes, they can easily understand and easily check the error, easily they can enforce the system, they can easily run the system, they can easily run in any system or any environment. So this thing is very important, that the notations should be familiar. You cannot just use any unfamiliar notation, since that will be difficult for those programmers who are dealing with that one. Maybe the team can be changed in the future, or maybe whenever you are giving that code to the customer, he is running at his environment. If the familiar notation is not there, they cannot easily run that one. Maybe some error checking problem can come, maybe some running problem can come, anything can come. So familiar notation is very important, so that whosoever is checking, they can easily correct the problem. Any kind of failure or any kind of error if comes, they can easily deal with that one. So familiar notation is very important for a high level language. And efficiency, that is permit the generation of efficient object code. Efficiency is very important when you are writing a high level language code. So in coding we are using a high level language since it is very much efficient, so that you can write a good object code. Okay. Now 9 is modularity. Programs can be developed in the languages as a collection of separately compiled modules with appropriate mechanism ensuring self-consistency between the modules. So self-consistency between the modules should be seen. Okay, so programs should be developed in a language as a collection which is separately compiled, which can be the modules, as we have already seen that modules, when we are breaking the system in different modules, so these modules can be separately also, these can be easily compiled also with appropriate mechanism ensuring self-consistency between the modules. So if your modules can be easily compiled when you are breaking the whole system, they are having a self-consistency between different modules, and link up is there. So this modularity is very important, as we have seen that whenever we are breaking the system in different modules at the designing phase, also we have seen at that time when we are checking those in integration testing, also you will see that when we are checking the different modules and we are making them together and checking as a whole system, so this modularity purpose is also being entertained by these high level languages. And last one is widely available. Should be widely available and should be possible to be provide translations for all the major machines and for all the major operating system. As I have already told you, your system should be, your high level language is why it is used, since it is available to every operating system. Okay, that is should be widely available. It is widely available. Whenever you are using in any particular environment, you are using in any particular system, any operating system, these languages are easily available. They are widely available and should be possible to be provide translations for all major machines and for all major operating systems. So these are basically the characteristics of our high level language. This high level language is being used to write a particular code. So coding is basically when we are coming to the coding phase, it is very necessary to give it a general form. Since you cannot use unfamiliar notations, you cannot make it a big one. So if you are making it a big one, so obviously at the time of checking, since after this phase you have to go for the testing phase, this is you should keep in your mind. If I am making my code a whole just a bulk one, so it will be very difficult for me only to check that particular thing. If I am writing the code in a shorter form, that is our high level languages are making the codes very less amount in comparison to low level languages. That's why we are using the high level language. So these things you have to keep in mind, so that you can write a very nice code which will be easily tested in our unit testing phase. So this is what the first class of your coding, that what is coding and what are the characteristics of a high level language which we are going to use to further write our codings. Okay, so code should be written only in high level language. Why? These are the characteristics. Then now in next class we will again study about how different codes are written, what are the basic characteristics, many other things. In small segments I will show you this whole coding phase, so it will be very important and very easy for you to understand. Okay, it's very important phase and you have to understand this in a very nice manner. So in small classes I will tell you this coding phase. Okay, so till then, if you have any problem regarding whatever today we have done, you can ask me in comment section, and if you like my channel, then please like and subscribe it. Till then, take care and have a good day.